Hi guys, Chester Westford here with my quick thoughts on the latest episode of Obi-Wan Kenobi. Episode 5 has come and I was going to say gone, but it's not really gone. It's still up there on Disney Plus for anyone who wants to see it. Now for my thoughts. Well, of course, we open with that flashback to Anakin and Obi-Wan in the days before the Empire, before the fall into the dark side, and before Darth Vader. So I know a lot of people were wondering, why hire Hayden Christensen if we're not even going to see his face? Well, for the people who had a problem with that, there you go. We saw his face. As cool as it was to see this flashback into the prequel era, I have to admit it was a bit strange that they didn't really use any de-aging or try to make Hayden look younger. But at first it was a bit jarring, but yeah, once I got used to it, all those flashbacks were really neat. Unnecessary, I feel like, but not unappreciated. There were a couple of things I liked about it. I don't know if it's just my imagination, but I feel like these, 5 minutes, if even that, gave us a better Anakin than most of the prequels did. And that's not a knock against Hayden's acting, but I feel like, along with many others, he wasn't always written well in the prequels. I've been watching the Clone Wars lately, and as much as I'm enjoying it, I have kind of had one problem with Anakin. He feels like a completely different character from the movies. He's written differently, voiced by a different actor who sounds absolutely nothing like Hayden Christensen. I kind of have a hard time connecting the two, but somehow it felt more like Clone Wars Anakin here than prequel Anakin. Maybe it was just my imagination, or maybe that makes sense since Dave Filoni is in charge now. I think he's involved in this show, isn't he? I don't know, but yeah, but finally being able to see Hayden kind of embody like a more Clone Wars-esque Anakin, at least I felt it was, maybe it wasn't, but I know it was only a couple minutes worth, maybe I'm just crazy, but it just does somehow feel better to me. But moving on to the rest of the episode, I don't know if you've heard, but there's this theory been floating about that each of the 6 episodes of Kenobi somehow relate to each of the 6 episodes of the movies, like episode 1 being stuck on the desert, episode 2 having a chase through the city, and a clone featuring episode 3 ending with a fiery confrontation between Obi-Wan and Darth Vader, 4 being a rescue of Leia from an important Empire base. Previously, I thought these theories were a bit far-fetched, but this one really did seem like the Empire Strikes Back. Starting with the Empire attacking an enemy base and ending with a narrow escape from Darth Vader on a ship. Maybe it's not so crazy after all. Either way, this to me was one of the most exciting episodes to date. It was the action-packed episode just before the finale. Not just action though, lots of important character moments and reveals like Reva's true goals and origins. Both were things I'd heard speculated by fans online, and both turned out to be true, so yeah, kudos to those fans who figured it out. I did not think that she was getting close to Darth Vader to kill him at first, but it works. It fits her character, it fits the overall story, it's just really powerful, tragic story. Saying it like that makes it sound like one of those common tropes everything has nowadays with tragic backstories, but this doesn't feel like one of those cliche tragic backstories. It just works. It's more tragedy born from Kenobi's failure. And I'm not saying Kenobi is a failure, but throughout the series it's been clear that he feels at least somewhat responsible for what happened with Anakin, and her path is yet another consequence of that downfall. All the Jedi she hunted down and killed essentially is because of what happened to her during Order 66. But if he does feel guilty, there is one question I have. So, did Obi-Wan use her, knowing what was going to happen? Or did he really think she could kill Vader? It's kind of a tricky situation. Of course it was risky, and maybe he thought it was worth a try. Or did he let it happen because either way it would end one of them and they both had to go? Not sure of the motivation, but if he did think it might get rid of her, that's kind of cold. We may never know his motivation, and I'm fine with that. As a matter of fact, I think it's better that way. But yeah, speaking of that whole situation, how cool was that fight between Reva and Vader? Not much actual dueling, but that's just how powerful Vader is. He didn't need to duel someone like her. He's way more powerful. The way he just uses the Force, that was scary. I wouldn't have wanted to be her in that situation. Now, I can hear some people saying if he can fight like that, why didn't he do that with Luke or Kenobi in the original trilogy? Well, he was toying with Reva. Luke, he wasn't trying to kill. He wanted to turn him to the dark side. Kenobi, well, he needed to win that for satisfaction. Other than that, I'm still really intrigued to see the beginnings of what will presumably become the rebellion. Sad that Tala's gone, but I am glad she got a heroic death and wasn't just shot and that was it. Also, seeing that droid die and go to her was way more heartbreaking than it feels like it should have been. But yeah, that two things, the trick with the two ships was great. Although I'm not sure how Vader couldn't have just pulled that one down as well. Similar to the fire, why couldn't he have just put it out and got Kenobi? But maybe he does want to see where they go. Maybe he is following them after all. Also, Grand Inquisitor is back. Guess he came back the same way as Darth Maul, just too much rage to die, which is interesting. Is that an indication of what's keeping Reva alive as well? And what's going to happen now that she knows about Luke? Obviously, we can't have too much of a confrontation without breaking the canon too much, but my theory is that she will try to get Luke and Kenobi will stop her. But yeah, either way, I really enjoyed this episode. I'm really enjoying this series so far. Can't wait to find out what happens next. What do you guys think? Are you enjoying the series? Do you have any theories about what's going to happen next? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you. Hopefully, I'm going to post my review of Miss Marvel Episode 2 tomorrow, so I'll see you then. Bye-bye.